Happy Friday to you, Olivia, Tavares, South Florida. Thank you for starting your day with us. And yes, this is our last cold start. So we're waking up into the widespread 50s. Some areas are in the 40s. Heading into tomorrow, it should be warmer. There's the possibility of seeing a brief shower ahead of a weak front, but Sunday promises to be nice and mild. So let's get you out the door and show you what it's like temperature wise. In Broward County, we have 49 in Plantation, 48 in Tamarack, 49 in Fort Lauderdale to 51 in Oakland Park, and Dania Beach reporting 52 degrees. And then as we move on into northern Miami-Dade, 40s, 50s here as well. Miami Shores at 48, Miami Beach at 52. At the airport, it's 51. Southern Dade, 49 in South Miami, 50 for you in Homestead. We also have widespread 50s in the Keys, 57 in Marathon to 59 in Key West, with the wind still out of the cold air direction along the East Coast northwest, but starting to become more northeasterly in the Florida Keys. I'll be back with a whole lot more in your local forecast and what we can expect for the weekend in 15 minutes. Morning, South Florida. Hopefully everyone's off to a great start. This is our last cold start, so make sure that you are bundled up properly. It is looking clear out there, and it is also mostly dry on the local storm tracking radar, and it will stay dry throughout today. So make sure that you are wearing your sweaters and jackets. Parents, that the kids are also prepared to go to school. 49 in Pompano Beach. It's 49 in Fort Lauderdale, 50 in Hollywood to 49 in Hialeah, 48 in Kendall. And then as we move on south into Homestead, 50 degrees. And then around the Florida Keys, temperature readings well into the 50s. Key Largo, 52, 54 in Isla Mirada, and it is 57 in Big Pine. Now, along the East Coast, the winds are out of the north-northwest, up to 5 miles per hour. Around the Florida Keys, we're starting to see a slight shift out of the north-northeast, and that's what's going to signal a change heading into the afternoon. We don't have significant gusts. There's just a gust of 16 miles per hour in Key West. So our forecast calls for it to be pleasant in the afternoon as our winds turn more off the ocean. So temperatures will climb into the 70s. Then there's this low pressure system that moves to the east-northeast, producing around parts of the deep south and mid-Atlantic states through the weekend an icy mix. But we'll be following the leading edge because it will be bright and warm early in the day on our Saturday. But then there's the possibility of seeing maybe a brief line of a few showers early afternoon as it crosses through, but it will not produce a ton of rain at all. It still promises to be pretty nice and warm on Saturday. Sunday should be nice and mild. Your boating forecast calls for a small craft advisory until 7 a.m. There's the threat of rip currents that will be going up at area beaches now that we're expecting an onshore flow. For the Florida Keys, there are no advisories, light to a moderate chop. And the next tide cycle is going to be high tide this morning at 5:29, so in a couple of minutes for Miami. So for today, highs in the 70s, patchy clouds, mild finish, tonight partly cloudy, much warmer in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees with your extended outlook calling for a weak front, slightly cooler to start off on Sunday. And that's your 7 on 7.
Hey, Viv, good morning.
Good morning. In South Florida, this is our last cold start. We're waking up into the 50s, some areas in the 40s. And then tomorrow, it'll be warmer ahead of a weak front. So there could be a brief shower associated with that front heading into late morning, early afternoon. But then on Sunday, it should be very nice and mild. Here's a look at the local temperatures in Broward County. 49 in Pompano, Parkland reporting 48, 50 in Davie to 52 in Dania Beach. Northern Miami-Dade, well, we do have 40s and 50s here as well. Miami Beach at 52, Doral, Hialeah 51, same at the airport. Miami Shores in North Miami checking in at 49. Also some 40s down south, Redlands at 47, 50 in Homestead to 57 for you in Marathon, with the wind still out of the northwest along the East Coast, but changing more off the ocean in the Keys. That's signaling a change, and we'll talk about those changes that we're expecting for the weekend coming up in about 15 minutes. Good morning, South Florida. We are waking up to partly cloudy to mostly clear skies, still a chill in the air, and pretty much our last cold start. It is mostly dry on the radar. If your commute takes you around town, you don't have to worry about rain. So here's a look at temperatures. Let's get you out the door, and it's 49 in Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale, 50 degrees in Hollywood, Hialeah at 49, 51 in Miami to 48 in Kendall. Then we move on into Homestead, 50 degrees. Florida Keys, widespread 50s. It tends to be colder around upper portions, 53 in Key Largo to 59 in Key West, 58 Cudjoe Key. The wind along the East Coast out of the north-northwest, but we're getting a sign of a change in direction, north-northeast in the Florida Keys, and that means that a warm-up will be evident in the afternoon. There are no significant gusts. Key West reporting a gust of only 16 miles per hour. But there's another storm brewing, and we're seeing rain, freezing rain, snow, ice around sections of Texas, then moving into Oklahoma and Arkansas at this point. And this system is going to travel to the east-northeast, producing this icy mix around the Carolinas heading into tonight. And then hopefully this system pushes off the coast early Saturday. And here is a look at potential accumulations, 3 to 6 inches, anywhere between Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, even Kentucky and Tennessee, but definitely ice expected around North and South Carolina. Our forecast will be a pleasant one this afternoon in the upper 60s to low 70s. Tomorrow, with the leading edge of that system, there could be a shower or two. Should be bright and warm early, then turning cloudy and mild later in the day. But Sunday promises to be the nicest day of the entire week. It should be a mild one with a mix of sun and clouds. Your boating forecast has a small craft advisory until 7 a.m. High risk of rip currents at area beaches. There are no advisories for the Keys, light to moderate chop here with the next tide cycle. That will be high tide in the 7 o'clock hour for Key West. Highs today in the low 70s. By tonight, in the 60s to about 70 degrees, significantly warmer South Florida, slightly cooler on Sunday. That's your 7 on 7.
First forecast. It was chilly again.
It's chilly again, and this is actually our last cold start because by the afternoon it is going to be warmer, but overall pleasant conditions expected. Now tomorrow, yes, we're expecting it to be warm overall, but there's the possibility of seeing a brief shower with a weak line moving in from a front that will be arriving sometime early in the afternoon, setting the stage for a very nice and mild Sunday. But we do have some 40s in there as well this morning. 47 degrees now, up to 49 in Plantation, 50 in Davie and Fort Lauderdale, 48 in Tamarack. Hollywood reporting 50 degrees. In northern Miami-Dade, we have 50s and some 40s. Miami Shores, North Miami at 49. 51 in Miami to 50 in Sweetwater. Southern Miami-Dade, 40s and 50s too. 49 in West Kendall, 50 in Homestead. Widespread 50s across the Keys. We have 53 in Key Largo, 57 in Marathon to 59 in Key West, with the winds slightly shifting out of the north-northeast, signaling that warm up. More details on your local weather coming up in a few minutes. Good morning, South Florida. It's finally Friday, and there's still a chill in the air. 49 in West Kendall, 51 in Miami, 50 in Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach, including Pembroke Pines. It is 59 in Key West. And the breeze calm inland, up to 9 miles per hour along the coast, and humidity still on the lower end, but that will rise gradually, especially heading into tomorrow ahead of a weak cold front. On the radar, least of your worries. You should have a fine commute if it takes you through Broward, Dade, and the Florida Keys. So here's the big view. We have a lot of rain changing over to this icy mix and snow. And this front associated with this area of low pressure, it is going to arrive midday on Saturday. But ahead, we're going to have high pressure breaking down, more of an onshore flow, and that's why conditions will start to warm up more on the comfortable side heading into the afternoon with temperatures in the 70s. So our forecast calls for a really nice Friday. So yes, cold to start, and then it will finish off a mild. Heading into Saturday, with the leading edge of this system, there's the possibility of seeing a couple showers, but ahead it will be bright and warm early, and then it's going to turn cloudy and mild as it crosses through. And then on Sunday, we're looking at a really nice weather day with more sunshine and light winds. It'll be slightly cooler in the morning. Your boating forecast has a small craft advisory until 7 a.m. The threat of rip currents will be going up at area beaches because we're going to have a shift in wind direction off the ocean, 5 to 15 knots. Seas building 4 to 6 feet, up to 8 feet in the Gulf Stream. Biscayne Bay is at a light chop. And around the Florida Keys, there are no advisories. Northeast winds to start off, then they're going to shift out of the southeast. Seas inside the reef building 1 to 2 feet. And the next tide cycle will be high tide at 7:57 in Key West. So for today, patchy clouds, cold AM, mild PM with temperatures ranging between 73 and 74. Tonight, upper 60s to about 70 degrees, so it'll be significantly warmer with your extended outlook calling for this weak front to arrive on Saturday. It should be nice on Sunday, warmer on Monday, and then another cold front settles in on Tuesday. That's your 7 on 7 forecast. Last cold one, and then temperatures moderate a little bit more. Tomorrow it promises to be warmer with a few showers associated with a weak cold front. So Sunday should be nice and mild. Let's get you out the door and show you what it's like in Broward County. We have some 40s and 50s out there, 50 in Pompano, 49 in Plantation, 50 in Davie. And in northern Miami-Dade, temperature readings here, 40s and 50s. We have 51 in Miami and Hialeah, 48 in Miami Lakes. Southern portions, West Kendall at 49, 52 in Cutler Bay, but it is 46 in the Redlands. Widespread 50s for the Keys, 54 in Isla Mirada. Big Pine Marathon reporting 57, with the wind out of the northwest shifting more out of the northeast for the Florida Keys, and that is what's signaling a warm up. We don't have any significant gusts at this hour, and your day planner is calling for temperatures to climb this time around into the lower 70s. I'll break down your full weekend forecast coming up in about 15 minutes.
Time now for Fast Track Traffic.
Good Friday morning to you. Pacific Skyforce, you're looking at a car
now, so make sure that you bundle up properly, but by the afternoon it is going to be very nice and comfortable. On the radar, mostly dry, will stay dry throughout today. 50 degrees currently in Pompano Beach and Fort Lauderdale, 50 in Hollywood. Some spots in the western suburbs are definitely in the 40s. Hialeah 49, 51 in Miami, 49 in Kendall, and in Homestead it is 50 degrees. Florida Keys, widespread 50s, 54 in Isla Mirada. Big Pine reporting 57, and the wind very light out of the northwest along the east coast, but shifting more to the north and east, and that's a sign that the pattern is changing as high pressure breaks down, and that will open up the avenue for this storm system that's producing wintry weather to move to the east northeast. And right now, looking at the possibility of significant snow accumulations and icy mix around this region. That includes Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia, and the Carolinas heading into this afternoon and evening. Hopefully the system pushes off the coast by tomorrow morning. We'll be following the leading edge, but there will be a good 3-6 inches of snow, but definitely rough travel with ice expected around the Carolinas. Our forecast has this system, at least the leading edge, crossing through early afternoon. There will be some extra clouds and the possibility of seeing a couple showers, but that's pretty much it. It will be very nice and mild on our Sunday. Your boating forecast has a small craft advisory until 7 a.m. Threat of rip currents going up at area beaches because we're getting a wind direction change off the ocean. There are no advisories for boaters in the Keys. Light to a moderate chop here with seas beyond the reef building 3 to 5 feet. We're going to get a high tide cycle happening at 7:57 this morning in Key West. So for today, patchy clouds, Cold in the morning, mild in the afternoon with temperatures climbing into the lower 70s, and then tonight upper 60s to about 70 degrees, so significantly warmer. But once the next weak front crosses through on Saturday, slightly coolish on Sunday to start off, but it will be nice with 70s and seasonable highs in the afternoon. And that's your 7 on 7 forecast.
This is a Fast Track Alert.
Friday morning to you, Pacific Sky Force. You're looking at a tow crew.
Are going to stick around today. Viv, good morning.
Good morning, and it will only last this morning. This is our last cold start, South Florida, so you'll need to sport around a sweater jacket, but by the afternoon, you'll be safely putting them away. But keep them nearby because we're going to be following a series of fronts. So heading into tomorrow, it'll be warmer ahead of a weak front that could produce some brief showers, but then it should be nice and beautiful for our Sunday. But the better of the 2 days for sure, at least a nice looking day, will be Sunday. Temperature wise, we have the 50s. Some areas did manage to get into the 40s, 49 in Pompano, 50 in Fort Lauderdale, 48 in Plantation. And around northern Miami-Dade, we have 48 in Miami Shores, Opelika at 49, the Gables at 48, 51 at the airport. Around southern sections, 46 in Kendall to 49 in Homestead. Florida Keys, widespread 50s here with the wind starting to turn more out of the north-northeast, signaling a change. I'll be back with a whole lot more on your weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes. Good morning, South Florida. Some areas have started off in the 40s, others in the 50s, but this is pretty much our last cold start for a few days, and it's 51 in Miami, 50 in Fort Lauderdale, 49 in Pompano, down to 46 in West Kendall, 59 in Key West. So make sure that you're wearing your sweaters and jackets. You'll be putting them away by the afternoon. It is calm. Our winds are very light, but they're starting to shift more out of the north-northeast, signaling a change. And on the radar, it'll be the least of your worries. It is mostly dry right now for your morning commute. So let's take a look at the big view. Front associated with winter storm is set to arrive here on Saturday, but right now it is producing a wintry mix from Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia, and you could see some freezing rain mixing in there as well. And it's coming down, but that will head toward the east northeast, and we'll be following the leading edge. Ahead, we're going to get milder ocean air, and that's why temperatures will be warmer in the afternoon and especially on Saturday. So as we take a look at the weekend forecast, it'll be much warmer to start off in the 60s with high temperatures warming to about 80 degrees. There's the possibility of seeing a few showers late morning, early afternoon, but we're not going with a high chance at all. It'll be on the cloudier side of things, but it should be nice and comfortable as we head into Sunday with a minor temperature change, especially in the morning for our Sunday. Exercise caution. Boaters are on Biscayne Bay. Threat of rip currents going up at area beaches with the return of an ocean breeze. There are no advisories for boaters in the Keys. Seas beyond the reef building 3 to 5 feet. Coastal waters light to a moderate chop. And the next tide cycle is going to be high tide at the end of this hour for Key West. So for today, we'll have patchy clouds, temperatures climbing between 73, 74. It's going to be great. And tonight, significantly warmer in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees. We cool off a bit on Sunday, and then we'll be following another cold front that will have us in the 40s and 50s once again midweek. That's your 7 on 7 forecast. Please don't go anywhere. 7 News Today in Florida. We'll be right back.
To know. Good morning, Viv.
Good morning, Ethan. Lorena, South Florida. Thank you for starting your day with us. It looks beautiful, and it is cold to start off, but it'll be very pleasant in the afternoon. A warm up is expected, and heading into Saturday, it will be a lot warmer, and we'll have the possibility of seeing a few showers ahead of a weak front. And here's a look at the temperatures to get you out the door. We have, for the most part, the 50s, but some areas did manage to get into the 40s. Plantation at 48. 50 in Davie, 51 in Oakland Park, Parkland down to 47. And in Miami-Dade County, Opelika reporting 49, 48 in Miami Shores. Miami International Airport at 51. Heading south, West Kendall, 46 degrees. 49 in Pinecrest and Homestead with temperatures in the 50s across the Keys. Big Pine and Key West reporting 59. The winds calm along the East Coast, but around the Keys, the direction is shifting more out of the north-northeast, and that's what's going to help conditions warm up. And we have no significant gusts to report. Your day planner's calling for a gorgeous day. Lots of sunshine, very few clouds. Temperatures will climb this time around into the 70s by noon, 71, 74 by 3 p.m. Your complete weekend outlook coming up in about 15 minutes. Good morning, South Florida. We're waking up to sunshine and still a chill in the air. You'll need to sport around sweaters, jackets this morning, and then you'll be putting them away by the afternoon. On the radar, it is mostly dry. It'll be the least of your worries for your morning commute. And we are expecting it to be a beautiful day. Here's a look at temperatures to get you out the door. Some areas in the 40s and 50s. Currently 49 in Pompano. It is 50 in Fort Lauderdale, 49 in Hialeah, 51 in Miami to 46 degrees in West Kendall. And then we head south to Homestead, 49 degrees. And here's a look at the Keys. 50s all around. 53 in Key Largo. Isla Morada reporting 55. Cudjoe Key at 58. Calm winds along the East Coast, but they're starting to shift out of the north-northeast, signaling a change. And we will be following an area of low pressure trailing front, a winter storm that has all sorts of weather alerts for a good portion of the country. And there's rain changing over to freezing rain, snow, icy mix for sure around sections of Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, and parts of Texas, but now all the way through Mississippi, Alabama, and Atlanta, at least northern portions. That's where we have the snow and the icy mix that will spread this afternoon into portions of South Carolina, and then heading into North Carolina by tonight. This is where we're going to be expecting some significant totals as it pushes off the coast sometime on Saturday. We do have about 3 to 6 inches of snow in the forecast, but yes, dangerous travel conditions on the roadways for North and South Carolina. So we'll have a pleasant afternoon in the 70s. Tomorrow morning, more clouds on the increase as this front gets closer to us, and there's the possibility of seeing a few showers early afternoon, late morning, early afternoon, and that's pretty much it. On Sunday, we'll have more sunshine, light winds, and it should be overall nice. Your boating forecast has an exercise caution. The return of onshore flow means the threat of rip currents is going up at area beaches, but we don't have any advisories for the Florida Keys. And at 7:57 is high tide for Key West. Highs today, 73 to 74. Tonight, significantly warmer in the 60s and 70s. And once the next front, week 1, crosses through Saturday, it'll be slightly coolish but seasonable on Sunday. Metro 7 on 7. Far so good, but we need to sport around the sweaters and jackets for sure. One last time, we're in the 40s and 50s, and then we start to warm up by the afternoon, and you'll be able to put that extra layer or two away temporarily, so keep them close by. It'll be warmer on Saturday ahead of a weak front that could produce a few brief showers late morning, early afternoon, but then it should be nice and mild for Sunday. So let's get you out the door and show you what it's like. Some areas did manage to get down into the 40s. Parkland at 48, 49 in Plantation, Fort Lauderdale up to 53, 55 in Dania Beach. And in northern Miami-Dade, we have 51 in Opelika, 48 in the Shores, the Gables at 47, but at the airport it's 52. And we have some 40s down south, 45 in the Redlands to 51 in Homestead, widespread low to mid-50s on the upper Florida Keys, and 58 degrees in Big Pine Key. We have calm to light winds, but they're shifting out of the northeast, and that is certainly signaling a change, especially as we head into the afternoon when we expect high temperatures to climb into the lower 70s. But I'll be back with a whole lot more in your local forecast, what we can expect for the weekend, coming up in about 15 minutes.
Off the top at 8 o'clock, crews pull a
Beautiful sunny skies with a chill in the air, but by the afternoon we'll be putting away the sweaters and jackets. Just keep them close by because this warm-up will be brief. Right now, local storm tracking radar showing dry conditions across South Florida. We won't have to worry about rain impacting your morning drives. Now, some areas this morning did manage to wake up into the 40s, but now we're in the pretty much widespread 50s in Broward, 53 in Fort Lauderdale, 52 in Hollywood, to 52 in Miami. Kendall, though, reporting 48 degrees, 51 for you in Homestead. And around the Florida Keys, widespread 50s here, 56 in Isla Mirada, 58. Good morning to you over in Big Pine. Key West already up to 60. The winds have been very light, but now we're starting to see a shift in direction out of the northeast, and that's what's going to signal a warm up. And it's all because high pressure is sliding to the east and it's opening up the avenue for this system, low pressure and front, to travel across the south. And we have rain changing over to this icy mix and snow around Kentucky, Tennessee, northern parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Atlanta, getting a good amount of rain and then changing over to freezing rain and snow around the Carolinas. Heading into tonight, it'll be quite busy, and then eventually this system pushes off the coast sometime on Saturday. As far as accumulations are concerned, through tomorrow morning, 3 to 6 inches of snow possible, but dangerous travel conditions for North and South Carolina due to the ice. Now for us, it'll be pleasant heading into the afternoon in the 70s tomorrow. It'll be warm in the 60s to start off with, highs at around 80, and then the front moves in, and it should be nice and seasonable on Sunday. Your boating forecast is use caution. Rip current risk going up with an onshore flow returning. No advisories for the Florida Keys with the next tide cycle. That will be low tide at 11 a.m. for Fort Lauderdale. Highs today between 73, 74 degrees. Patchy clouds, mild finish, significantly warmer heading into tonight in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees. It'll be coolish to start on Sunday with that weak front moving in, and then we'll be following a much stronger front for Tuesday. That's your 7 on 7.
This is a Fast Track Alert.
Good Friday morning to you from 7 Sky.
We have 52 in Miami to 50 degrees in Pompano, down to 48 in West Kendall, but Key West up to 60 degrees. But at one point this morning, you were in the 50s. Calm winds inland, they're starting to increase along the coast up to 15 miles per hour, but there will be a change in wind direction today. We're out of the north and east, signaling a warm up. And here's a look at the local storm tracking radar. It is mostly dry if your commute takes you through Broward, Dade, and the Florida Keys. We won't have to worry about rain for today, but there's a front associated with a winter storm that is set to arrive midday on Saturday. So we're going to get milder ocean air, and that is what's going to help us warm up. So let's take a look at what we can expect. This afternoon, it should be pleasant in the lower 70s, and then we move on into Saturday. Much warmer start in the 60s to about 70 degrees. High temperatures quickly warm up to about 80. And then early afternoon, there could be a couple showers with the leading edge of a weak front with a minor drop in temperatures behind. Your boating forecast today has an exercise caution for the Dade and Broward coastal waters. Risk of currents returning at area beaches because of an east wind. 5 to 15 knots. Seas building 4 to 6 feet, 8 feet in the Gulf Stream. Biscayne Bay at a light chop, light to a moderate chop in the Keys, with seas beyond the reef building 3 to 5 feet. Now the next tide cycle is going to be low tide at 11 a.m. in Fort Lauderdale, 11:09 in Miami. So for today, we'll have patchy clouds. Yes, a cold start, mild finish with high temperatures in the lower 70s, 73 to 74. So it'll be great overall. Significantly warmer tonight with lows in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees. Your extended outlook calls for a weak front to move in on Saturday. It should be nice, coolish start on Sunday. A stronger front arrives on Tuesday. That's your 7 on 7 forecast. 7 News Today in Florida. We'll be right back.
Great Friday.
It is a great Friday in South Florida. We will have just one last cold start, and then it starts to warm up in the afternoon to comfortable levels. And then tomorrow we'll be following a weak front, but it should be nice and mild for the second half of the weekend once that weak front crosses through. But here's a look at what we can expect. Temperatures to head out the door starting to warm up, but generally in the widespread 50s, especially around interior locations. It's 55 in Plantation, 59 in Tamarack to 68 in Pompano Beach. And around northern Miami-Dade, temperature readings here 50s, 60s, especially along the coastline. Miami Beach at 64, 67 in Sunny Isles to 59 in Miami, 56 in Doral. And around southern Miami-Dade, temperature readings also in the 50s, 53 in South Miami, but then you take a look at Homestead up to 58. Widespread 60s right now for most of the Keys, 60 in Isla Mirada, 62 in Big Pine Key. Your full forecast coming up in a few minutes. Good Friday morning, South Florida. We started off very chilly. Now we're starting to warm up, especially around coastal communities like Pompano at 66, 65 in Fort Lauderdale, 63 in Key West, but it's 59 in Miami, 57 in West Kendall. With calm winds inland, 15 miles per hour along the coast, humidity levels will slowly start to climb. And here's a look at the radar. Mostly dry conditions underway, and it'll stay mostly dry today. But we have a sudden switch in wind direction, and that's why, especially around coastal Broward, temperatures have warmed up. So at 6 a.m., down to 50 degrees with a north-northwest wind, still northerly at 8 a.m., but then now more out of the east-southeast. So that is why temperatures have climbed into the mid-60s in this 9 o'clock hour. And we have high pressure sliding to the east. That's why we have this wind shift, and we'll have a front associated with the winter storm arriving midday on Saturday. So the avenue has been opened up for a series of fronts to move in once again. So we'll have temperatures climbing into the 70s this afternoon. Heading into Saturday, there could be a broken line of a few showers moving in late morning, early afternoon with this next front, with highs climbing to about 80 degrees. And then we move on into the afternoon. Minor temperature drop behind the front. Will feel a bit coolish, especially on Sunday morning. Use caution, boaters around Biscayne Bay. Threat of rip currents now starting to go up at area beaches. Seas building 4 to 8 feet. Biscayne Bay at a light chop. Florida Keys, light to a moderate chop. Seas beyond the reef building 3 to 5 feet. And the next tide cycle is going to be low tide at 11 a.m. in Fort Lauderdale, 11:09 in Miami. So for today, patchy clouds. Yes, we've had a cold start. We'll have a great finish in the lower 70s. 73 to 74 degrees are the forecast highs. Tonight, partly cloudy, significantly warmer with temperatures in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees. And on your extended outlook, South Florida, weak front moves in on Saturday. We'll have extra clouds. It'll be very nice. Seasonable in the afternoon on Sunday, warmer Monday ahead of a stronger front that will settle into South Florida Tuesday. And that's your 7 on 7 forecast. Good morning, South Florida. There's a front associated with a winter storm that has all sorts of alerts in effect for the deep south, a pretty good portion of the country, really into the mid-Atlantic states. And that front is set to arrive midday on Saturday. So that is why conditions by this afternoon will start to warm up, and overall it'll be much warmer Saturday with the possibility of seeing a couple showers ahead of that front. Your boating forecast has an exercise caution. Threat of rip currents going up at area beaches anytime we have the return of an onshore flow, 5 to 15 knot winds. No advisories for the Florida Keys. With the next tide cycle, that will be low tide at 11:09 in Miami. Highs today in the lower 70s, so we'll be putting away the sweaters and jackets temporarily. And then by tonight, warmer, upper 60s to about 70 degrees. It'll be coolish to start off on Sunday, but seasonable, very nice. And then a stronger front moves in on Tuesday. And that's your 7 on 7 forecast. Good morning, South Florida. Waking up to bright sunshine. It looks absolutely gorgeous outside. There's still somewhat of a chill in the air, but we've already had a shift in wind direction, and that is going to help temperatures climb. And as far as your commute is concerned, you don't have to worry about rain. Right now it's 66 In Pompano Beach, 65 in Fort Lauderdale, 59 in Hollywood, 58 in Hialeah, to 57 in Kendall, 58 in Homestead. Florida Keys in the 60s, 64 in Isla Mirada, Cudjoe Key, 63 Key West. With the winds now starting to shift more out of the east-northeast, and that is why temperatures will moderate to pleasant values in the afternoon. But there's this winter storm that is impacting the south with rain, an icy mix, and periods of heavy snow, especially around northern sections of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Heading into the Carolinas this afternoon and evening, there's definitely going to be quite a bit of snow, and then eventually it pushes off the coast early Saturday. 3 to 6 inches of snow possible, but dangerous driving conditions expected here through tomorrow morning. It will be a pleasant one with highs today in the 70s. Then we get the leading edge of that system crossing throughout the day. It'll be turning cloudy and mild with a minor drop in temperatures come Sunday morning, but it should be absolutely gorgeous. Your boating forecast has an exercise caution, threat of rip currents going up at area beaches because of an onshore flow returning, anywhere between 5 to 15 knots. Seas building 4 to 8 feet. No advisories for the Keys. Seas inside the reef 1 to 2, 3 to 5 foot seas beyond the reef. And the next tide cycle will be low tide in the 11 o'clock hour for Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Key West. Highs today between 73, 74 degrees. Tonight in the upper 60s to about 70, so significantly warmer. And we will be warmer on our Saturday. Coolish Sunday morning with seasonable highs, so it should be nice. And then we'll be following a stronger front into early next week. That's your 7 on 7 forecast. Have a great weekend.